things that you saw in the last game that you'd like to carry over to this one?
Yeah, I think our forecheck was great. We put a lot of pressure on the other team's D, and really made it hard on them. So it's something that's important for our team, and something we want to do every night.
What are you seeing from Ivan right now in terms of his evolution?
Yeah, I think there's no surprise anymore. Like he does it every night, and he comes ready to play. And when it's his turn to make a play, he makes it, and it's pretty fun to see.
What's the difference he makes on that power play unit? How does it change when he comes back?
Yeah, I think it just gives us another option, whether he's ready to shoot or pass or whatever it is. But if the puck ends up on that side, we're comfortable going from that side too. So it adds a couple different layers for sure.
To what extent do you prepare to a different game against the Leafs than two weeks ago? That they have Nyes and Matthews back. They play a lot better than they did at this moment. So how do you prepare? Do you prepare any differently?
Every game's different. Every team goes through stretches where they aren't great or where they're feeling it. So pretty similar, I guess. And we just try to bring our best every night.
In terms of your own game, where do you feel it's at right now?
Yeah, I feel like I've been pretty good. There's room for improvement as always. I feel like I got more for sure, and I'm ready to take a couple more steps forward.
I mean, how have you improved or managed those matchups against bigger players? We've seen you get into contact with some pretty big boys over the last week and win those battles. Just like, how have you evolved in that department of the game?
Yeah, I think I just feel maybe a bit more comfortable. Just being in those scenarios where you got to win a puck battle to help the team, and sometimes that's just how it has to be, I guess. But I just feel like I'm getting more comfortable, and I could be better in that department as well too.
Is any part of that forcing you to be the aggressor more often to be able to win those?
Yeah, it changes every time. Some games are different. You won't have a puck battle for 2 periods, and then you'll have 3 in the third or whatever it is. But it changes all the time if you got to be the aggressor or patient, and for me especially.
What are your first impressions with Alexandre Carrier?
Yeah, he's pretty smart. Super silky, good hands, good vision. Yeah, he's a bigger guy than I thought, so it's good to have another big body. And he's just a really smooth, reliable player.
Did you have to go low in puck battles in college as much as you do here? Like, is that something you've had to adjust and maybe do more than you had to before?
College was so different, so it's hard to say. I could use my skating, a lot more in college. To not even get into puck battles, so it's different because there's so many great players in this league.
You find that you're learning how to use your leverage.
Yeah,
better?
Yeah, trying to at least. I feel like I could still be a lot better at that too, but yeah, slowly figuring it out.
A couple of weeks ago, you had you put a little bit on your shoulders in terms of the power play not functioning. Now it's actually functioning quite well. What have you tweaked in your game that you feel has helped?
Yeah, I try to simplify a little bit, get pucks to our guys quicker, and all the things that weren't going well, or I needed to get pucks quicker for our guys, and I feel like I'm trying to do that, and help any way I can and put guys in dangerous spots.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
What did Brady say?
clubs qui cherchaient à avoir plus de situations blanc ou noir, pas de gris dans le milieu. C'est ce sur quoi vous mettez un petit peu l'emphase aujourd'hui avec Toronto ce soir?
Oui, je pense qu'on vient d'en parler. On a fait du vidéo tantôt. On veut s'assurer que tu n'as aucun questionnement quand tu es sur la glace, que tu sais exactement ce que tu veux faire, ce que tu vas faire. Puis c'est ça, c'est notre plan pour ce soir.
C'est quoi la principale zone grise à éliminer? C'était quoi la zone grise à éliminer principalement?
Ouais, je pense que c'est souvent en zone défensive. Je pense qu'on a eu des trous de temps en temps en zone défensive. C'est juste de vraiment trouver ton homme dans des situations qu'on peut se supporter un peu plus en zone défensive. Puis être, au lieu d'être 1 contre 1 tout le temps, d'être 2 contre 1 ou 3 contre 2 ou des choses comme ça.
Beaucoup de la communication, j'imagine.
Exact. Ouais.
Je vais parler dans le trop technique, mais l'année passée, corrige-moi si je me trompe, mais vous utilisiez souvent le lob pour sortir quand ça chauffait. On le voit un petit peu moins cette année. Est-ce que je me trompe?
Bonne question. Je sais pas. Peut-être. Peut-être c'est quelque chose qu'on peut regarder. Évidemment, quand ça tourne en zone, souvent, tu as moins d'espace, tu es plus fatigué, fait que c'est là que tu vas lober plus la rondelle. Mais évidemment, on essaie de sortir la rondelle le plus possible. C'est vrai que je sais pas, peut-être que les chiffres le démontrent.
J'avais pas de chiffres, mais c'est une perception. Mais est-ce que tu penses justement que trop de gris, c'est ce qui vous coûte des deuxièmes périodes, peut-être un peu, parce que vous restez pris longtemps dans votre zone?
Oui, probablement. Surtout en deuxième période, tu étais loin pour changer. Mais c'est ça, on essaie juste d'enlever ces zones grises-là, puis vraiment d'avoir aucun questionnement, puis vraiment d'être alerte, d'être prêt. Puis je pense que si on est comme ça, on va être pas mal plus dur à affronter.
Alex, dans le dernier match, excusez-moi, dans le dernier match, Harbour est venu à ta défense. Il a décidé justement de ne pas apprécier la mise en échec contre toi. Comme coéquipier, quand tu vois ça, que ton partner décide de régler un certain problème rapidement sur la glace, comment tu vis ça?
Oui, j'apprécie. Vraiment, j'aimerais ça faire la même chose pour lui. Ça arrive pas mal moins souvent. Mais non, ça démontre à quel point on est proche, puis à quel point il n'est pas égoïste de vouloir faire quelque chose comme ça. Donc, moi, je suis allé lui donner une bonne poignée de main. Je le remercie de la période.
Après le match de jeudi, Mathieu Nice a un peu mis la table. Là. Il pensait déjà au match de ce soir contre le Canadien, puis il parlait du dernier match que vous avez gagné. Lui, évidemment, n'était pas là, mais il y a une volonté de flipper le scénario puis d'aller chercher une victoire de leur côté. À quel point ça va être pour vous de trouver un équilibre, de ne pas trop vous laisser emporter dans cette émotion-là puis de gérer votre match?
Oui, je pense que c'est un équilibre à trouver parce qu'on veut aller chercher de l'émotion. C'est un samedi à Toronto. On sait ce que ça veut dire. Donc, c'est un match très important pour nous, mais en même temps, il faut que tu restes en contrôle, il faut que tu restes focus, prêt dans le système de jeu. Donc, c'est juste trouver ce milieu-là, mais je ne suis pas inquiet. Je pense qu'on est excité pour ce soir, puis même chose pour eux, donc ça va être de bonne guerre.
C'est quoi le meilleur chemin à suivre pour trouver une constance? Vous êtes capable d'offrir de bons résultats contre les Sens, c'était moins bon. Comment on fait pour offrir une constance?
Je pense que c'est le plus de reps possible. Quand tu as un bon match, tu ne peux pas être comblé. Il faut que tu continues à pousser la machine. Puis, à force de faire ça, je pense que tu vas avoir des meilleurs résultats pas mal plus souvent que des moins bons.
Alex, when you play your best game personally, what are the elements that go into that?
Trusting my feet, closing my compete, and all that. I think my main role is that's how I got into the league. It's winning battles and stuff like that. So when I win battles, I feel like I'm playing good. Yeah.
When a lot of that happened, obviously against the Jets, how does it propel you into this next game?
Yeah. I think gives you energy, gives you confidence. I think that was a good game for a group. So playing the Leafs at home, it's going to be a challenge, but we gotta build on that.
You talk about losing your man in the defensive zone. When you're playing man on man, that should be pretty black and white. No? I mean, but in terms of creating those 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s in the D zone, is that where the gray has crept in? Like, do you want to do more of that, or do you want to do less of that? I just want to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you want to do more of having more guys against them, especially down low. I think when they get high, then they have time and space, then you go into the one-on-one. I think most of the time, too, against good players in this league, like you can't really just go one-on-one and just look at your guy. You still got to help your buddy that's playing against Matthews or, a guy like that. So it's like a 1.5. I think that's where there's a gray sometimes that you want to help, but you still got to get your guy. But also down low, we got to be quicker to close and be close to each other at the same time.
Is that you need a rotation if that happens, right? if you're leaving your guy, then other guys have to adjust.
Yeah,
and
and
that's where.
And that's when the gray happens, I think. Yeah.
We're talking about this a lot now all of a sudden, but before this, it was the neutral zone. There's been a kind of a trend with this team where you guys fix one thing, something else comes. So now that you're focusing so much on this defensive zone stuff, how do you guys make sure that something else doesn't slip from your concentration?
Yeah. Obviously, we hope it doesn't happen. But I think we just gotta focus on that. I think if we do that and we take care of a D zone, then the rest will come. I think when you take care of your D zone and you're sharp in your own zone, then you have a chance to win a game. And that's what we want to do. We want to do that every game and hopefully go on a run. But I think it starts with the D zone mostly.
One of the things that might slip, I guess, is like entry denials and things, and gapping up in the neutral zone and really preventing them from even entering your zone easily. When you're playing such a compact, like such a busy schedule, you have games every 2 days, and just it's ridiculous your schedule right now. Is that harder to do, like that neutral zone? Just being on top of them in the neutral zone, how much more energy that takes, and just does the schedule impact that at all?
Good question. I think overall your energy is going to be down. That's just how the schedule is. But that's when you got to rely on the system. That's why we got to be sharp on that, because that's when you don't have as much energy. That's when, and one guy is not sharp, then the rest got to work more, and then you're in trouble. So I think it does a little bit, I guess. But that's why you got to be sharp and focused and make sure that you don't let it slip. Yeah.
Je sais pas si tu gardes en mémoire, mais décembre, c'est pas mal un des mois les plus tough, en tout cas, que moi j'ai vu depuis longtemps, là, au niveau du calendrier, 4 back-to-back. Comment vous l'abordez collectivement, le groupe, ce mois-là?
On essaie de se concentrer vraiment jour au jour. C'est vrai que l'horaire est vraiment pas facile avec les Olympiques, évidemment, mais surtout les back-to-back. J'ai rarement vu ça, des back-to-back-to-back-to-back. Fait que c'est vraiment important d'y aller. On a gagné le dernier match. Là, on arrive ce soir à Toronto. On veut juste se concentrer sur aujourd'hui, puis on dealera avec ce qui va se passer demain. Donc, c'est vraiment juste important de rester dans le moment présent, puis de ne pas trop voir trop loin.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Non.
Hier, l'entraînement a servi beaucoup à établir du blanc et du noir, moins de gris. Est-ce que c'est essentiellement ce que tu veux voir peut-être ce soir contre les Leafs pour que vous soyez à votre meilleur?
Mais c'est sûr qu'il faut être meilleur dans notre zone, tu sais, puis on essaie de parler de ça justement, tu sais, quand c'est noir et blanc, c'est clair, tu sais, la job est beaucoup plus facile, tu sais, puis c'est comme entraîneur, mais c'est ça, il faut que tu fasses toute la longueur de l'année, les différents départements. Le noir et blanc, il aide la prévisibilité pour tout le monde, mais c'est sûr, dans le hockey, il va toujours avoir un petit peu de gris, mais on peut-tu limiter ça, tu sais, fait que on travaille là-dessus.
Je ne dois pas t'en servir comme une excuse, mais c'est plus difficile avec une jeune équipe, Martin, d'arriver justement à une équipe qui te présente du noir ou du blanc.
Je dirais que c'est un défi pour n'importe quoi, mais c'est sûr quand tu as une équipe plus âgée d'expérience, c'est sûr qu'ils ont plus d'expérience avec le gris et le noir et le blanc. Fait que ça fait partie du processus, mais j'ai confiance que tu peux apprendre n'importe quoi à n'importe quel âge.
C'est quoi la différence que représentent les Leafs par rapport aux Jets en termes de préparation pour vous?
On focus sur nous autres.
Mais comme par rapport à vous êtes préparé à quoi je veux dire, c'est quand même pas exactement la même équipe que vous connaissez.
Je sais, mais ils ont des joueurs clés comme Winnipeg. On ne réinventera pas une manière de jouer. On focus beaucoup sur notre recette.
Les Leafs sont bien en tête. Le fait qu'ils ont perdu un match à Montréal il y a peu de temps, ils ont retrouvé certains bons éléments dans leur formation. Est-ce que vous attendez un push dès le départ de leur part?
Ben, c'est sûr. Ça va être un défi ici à Toronto. C'est une grosse game de division, un samedi soir. Fait que je m'attends à beaucoup d'intensité.
Est-ce que tu aimes la façon dont ton équipe joue quand les émotions sont élevées? On dirait que vous sortez très souvent du bon côté de ces matchs-là.
Oui, je pense que les gars, ils sont capables de se présenter pour un défi comme ça. Puis surtout un samedi soir, une game de division comme ça, comme Toronto, tu sais. Je pense que l'urgence habituellement est là, de bonne heure. C'est ça que ça prend.
Est-ce que sur la route, tu as une volonté de vouloir équilibrer un peu plus ton line-up ou tu vas pas mal continuer?
On va voir quelle sorte de line-up qui vont jouer à soir. Puis si on a à s'ajuster, on va s'ajuster.
Tu n'as pas touché au duo Matheson-Dobson beaucoup. Tu sais, peut-être durant les matchs, après un avantage ou un désavantage numérique. Est-ce que pour toi, c'est vraiment un socle solide de ta défense que tu ne veux pas toucher?
Oui, mais tu sais, qu'est-ce qu'ils nous ont montré jusqu'à date cette année, tu sais, leur body of work, c'est un gros échantillon, pareil, les deux ensemble, tu sais, puis ils nous donnent quand ils sont sur le top de leur game, ils sont fatigants à jouer contre, fait que c'est dur de les séparer, tu sais.
What did you like from last game that you'd like to see your team execute tonight?
What did I like? I felt like we're back a little bit to our identity in terms of being on top of the other team, our forecheck, and not necessarily the 200-foot forecheck, but like the ozone hunt and staying on top of them. And I thought we had more we killed more plays at the blue line because of it. I thought our forecheck is back to our identity, and it's to me it's solidify a little bit what we're doing in the D zone, but it's not lose something else because we're better somewhere.
Whack-a-mole. Yeah. What are you seeing from Bolduc right now? I know it's a work in progress, and it's a new environment for him. How do you feel he's adapting to what you just talked about?
I think it's he's a young player who, we're trying to get him to where we know he can get to, and it's not going to be linear. So I think he's going through that right now. For me, with Boldy, great offensive player, and he's got to keep working on his defensive game, and it'll be there.
In your D zone,
In your D zone,
when you're trying to kill more plays, and you want to create odd man situations and what have you, is that where some of the great creeps in? And if you want to create a 2-on-1 in the corner or whatever to kill a play sooner, is that the line you got to kind of straddle and when to do that and when not?
Well, I mean, I think it's, if the puck gets chipped into our zone, we're not, I don't think there's, and hopefully they don't get to start their ozone. Once they get to start their ozone, we go man on man like probably half the league, and it's recognizing where your guy is. Can you help somewhere else without losing your guy? And as you get deeper into a shift sometime, sometimes you come back in, you've already been on the ice for 35, 40, let's say, and weren't allowed to change. Those become more of a challenge, and you got to dig and do the job. That's what.
Sorry for interrupting you.
That's okay. I've said enough.
Does the road permit you to lean on like Kapanen's line as defensively as you did last game, or is the challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the road, makes you trying to come and wave, and you don't have last change. You just gotta you gotta be alert. You're gonna get into a rhythm with the other coach and stuff, and sometimes icings will take you out of rhythm, and sometimes if they double shift, will take you out of rhythm. But I can also do the same thing on the other side. It's a little bit of cat and mouse game in that sense. But when guys are going out there, being aware who they're on the ice again, being alert, playing with intentions, and taking care of the team, usually, you're okay, So, you got to be alert. And it's not necessarily, what you get, it's what you give sometime. And there's momentums in the game. You have to recognize what kind of shift we need right now. And so, I think it's a big part of you got to be aware on the road and stuff because you don't know what's coming.
I guess further to that, we were talking to Brendan yesterday. Just you tried Brendan with Jake and Andy a while ago, and it didn't really work out as well as I guess you would have hoped. In this situation, with everything you just talked about, playing on the road and being aware and being alert, and they must provide some comfort when you throw them over the boards and you don't know what's coming on the other end. What do they need to do to be that for you, to be that sort of momentum line that you like to call?
Well, for me, it's probably have some direct, simple actions. Where I feel it's a momentum line for me. It's a line that's probably gonna, keep things simple in the sense that they're gonna defend hard. They're gonna make sure the pucks get out. They're gonna make sure the pucks get in. They're gonna get on the forecheck. They'll sustain ozone time by not having hope plays in the ozone. They'll bring some heaviness, and I feel that line is kind of designed for that. I thought they played to that identity last game against Winnipeg. Can they do it again? I think we need that line to really solidify a little bit what we have up front. A reliable, consistent momentum line, and I'm looking for that out of that line.
Juste te relancer sur ce que vous disiez tantôt sur Bolduc, Carpin et toi. Est-ce qu'on tend à sous-estimer l'adaptation nécessaire pour un joueur qui arrive dans une nouvelle organisation?
Oui, il y a toujours de ça. Puis, c'est une combinaison d'un. Tu sais, combien de games qu'il y a dans la Ligue nationale?
100.
Exactement. Fait qu'il ne faut pas oublier ça non plus. Fait que c'est une combinaison de bien des choses. Mais le potentiel, il est très élevé pour Zach.
Marty, I know there's not much that surprises you about Ivan Demidov, but his willingness to physically engage and be on the inside at his age with his level of experience, how much is that at the root of his progression?
Yeah, no, it's big. I mean, Demi's not the biggest guy, but he plays much bigger, because he's using his body to win battles, to take care of the puck offensively, and he's able to extend plays or create opportunities because of it. So if you go in those battles with white gloves, you're not going to do the next thing or generate something quick out of that. And from what I've seen so far,